What's going on, Pat? This is Coach Barker here, and I just wanted to let you in on a little bit of an opportunity that we have as a Pearson school to give back and show a little gratitude to our community. So our school has an opportunity to partner with JDRF, which is Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, for our end of the school year fundraiser. And so I want to pass it to Nurse Paz to just give you a little bit of background information on what juvenile diabetes is.
Hey Pats, I want to talk to you today about type 1 diabetes. So when we talk about diabetes, we also want to talk about metabolism. So whenever you eat your food, it's digested down in your stomach, and when your stomach breaks it down, you've got proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are broken down and then turned into glucose. So when glucose is in your bloodstream, another substance in your body called insulin is produced. And insulin is a hormone made by the pancreas. And someone with type 1 diabetes has had their pancreas fail for them. It's thought currently that it is an immune system response to a virus. So sometimes people think that diabetics get type 1 diabetes from eating too much blood or too much sugar in their diet. That is not the case. There's absolutely nothing that a child has done to give themselves diabetes. It's not from too much sugar or too little exercise. It's actually a failure of their pancreas. And we don't know all the answers as to why it happens, but we do know what happens when the pancreas breaks. So if you look at this picture here, you'll see that the pancreas is responsible for producing the hormone insulin. So the insulin are these teal little dots here, and when you've eaten something, your stomach has broken down the carbohydrates and then further broken down the carbohydrates into molecules of glucose. What insulin does is it binds with the glucose and takes that into the cells for energy. So when someone's body doesn't make insulin, there's no way for the glucose to get into the cells. And so the blood sugar builds up in their body and leads to a lot of problems. So what diabetics have to do is they have to give themselves insulin in a different manner because their body doesn't produce it themselves. So the first thing to know about diabetes is it's something that diabetics have to keep up with all day long, every day, and even at nighttime too. There's a lot of work to have diabetes, and so part of the work occurs when a diabetic has a meal. So when they eat something, they are going to be breaking down that food, and blood sugar levels are going to rise, and so to balance that, they have to give themselves some insulin. But the first step is actually to check their blood sugar. So there are things called glucometers, and a glucometer is something that the person with diabetes would have to poke the side of their finger, get a little drop of blood, and then put that drop of blood onto this strip here, and it'll give them a number. So they'll take that number and they'll count the carbs that they're about to eat, and they'll decide how much insulin that they should receive. So insulin can be given kind of old school in injections with single syringes. This is a vial of insulin here. It can be given in a newer way in an insulin pen, or an even better and newer way, and this is a pod that a diabetic might wear on the back of their arm or on their waist, and the insulin will be given through the pod itself. So those are three different ways that you can give yourself insulin when you have diabetes. When we talk about diabetes, it's also important to think about type 1 diabetes versus type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is something that occurs when people are older, for the majority of people. Type 1 diabetes is when a child is less than 20. It can occur as a baby, it can occur when they're 8, it can occur as a teenager. Type 2 diabetes is most oftentimes in adulthood, and with type 2 diabetes, that pancreas we're talking about where the insulin is normally produced, it's either not making enough insulin with type 2 diabetes, or it's not metabolizing the glucose properly. So type 2 diabetics don't have broken pancreases, but the type 1 does. Their pancreas just doesn't function at all. So that's a little bit about diabetes. In the US, there's over 1 million type 1 diabetics, but type 1 diabetics only make up 5% of the people in the US with diabetes. Type 2 diabetics make up 95% of the people in the US. So I'll come back next year and talk to you guys some more about type 2 diabetes so you can understand it better.
So what better way to show gratitude, Pearson, than to be able to give back? It's our goal. It may seem lofty, but we know y'all are some of the most giving students and families in the community. So $1,500 is what we're looking to raise. So how does it work? On Monday, May 13th, you'll be able to start donating online. 3 links will be sent out, 1 per grade level. So 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, you'll each have your own link to be able to start raising money. $500 per grade level is the goal. So for every $5 that you individually donate, your name will be entered into a raffle on the week of May 20th through 23rd. So during those lunches, we'll be doing a name drawing, and the names that are drawn, typically about 4 or 5 each lunch, will get to compete in Minute to Win It games for prizes, which is awesome. On top of that, and this is the best part, your teachers have entered their names in, willing to do certain dares. So as we raise money along the way per grade level, you may get to pie a teacher in the face, you may get to turn your administrators or the principals into a human sundae with ice cream, whipped cream, chocolate syrup, and then we'll be playing some egg roulette, so trying to smash raw eggs on people's heads. If that can't get you excited to give money for a good cause, I don't know what will. Come on, Pearson, let's see what we can do.